This person is seeing you and this situation very differently after everything that has happened, and perhaps the biggest reason is that something inside them has changed. Sometimes love does not become clear when everything is easy. Sometimes love becomes clear when distance, silence, misunderstandings, disappointment, and unexpected moments force a person to look at their feelings honestly. There may have been a time when this person looked at you through the lens of assumptions, past experiences, fear, ego, or even confusion. They may have believed they already understood you, believed they knew what you wanted, or thought they could predict how this connection would unfold. But after everything that has happened, they are beginning to realize that you are much deeper than the version of you they had created in their mind. They are looking back at conversations, small gestures, moments of silence, the way you reacted to certain situations, the things you said without saying them directly, and even the moments when you walked away instead of fighting to be understood. And now, those memories may be connecting differently for them. What once seemed insignificant may suddenly feel meaningful. What once looked like distance may now look like self-respect. What once seemed like emotional coldness may now look like someone protecting a heart that had already been hurt. This is one of the strange things about human psychology. People often understand the value of something more clearly when their emotional perspective changes. The event itself may not have changed, but the meaning they attach to it has changed. And when meaning changes, feelings can change too. Perhaps this person is finally seeing that your presence was never ordinary to them. They may have become accustomed to your energy, your attention, your patience, or simply the comfort of knowing that you were there. But when circumstances changed, they were forced to experience what your absence actually feels like. Sometimes we do not understand someone's importance because they are constantly available to our emotional world. We notice their presence only when something interrupts the familiar pattern. That does not necessarily mean this person intentionally took you for granted. Sometimes people are simply emotionally unaware. They are moving through life carrying their own fears, insecurities, responsibilities, and unresolved wounds, and they interpret relationships through those internal filters. They can love someone and still misunderstand them. They can care deeply and still behave inconsistently. They can miss someone and still remain silent. They can think about reaching out and still allow pride or fear to stop them. This is why love is not always as simple as if they love you, they will come running. Human beings are complicated. Emotional attachment and emotional courage are two different things. A person can feel deeply and still be afraid of what those feelings require from them. And perhaps that is what is happening here. This person may now be asking themselves questions they avoided before. Why did this connection affect me so much? Why do I still think about this person? Why do certain memories keep returning? Why does their silence feel louder than other people's words? Why did I become uncomfortable when they started pulling away? Why do I suddenly care about what they think of me? Why does the possibility of losing this connection feel different now? These questions are important because they reveal something deeper than simple attraction. They reveal emotional significance. When someone begins questioning their own behavior and feelings, it often means their previous understanding of the relationship is no longer sufficient. Their old explanation does not fully explain what they are experiencing anymore. And that is when transformation can begin. Maybe they once thought you were simply another person entering their life, but now they are realizing that your presence touched a part of them they had kept hidden. Maybe you made them feel understood without demanding that they explain every emotion. Maybe your patience gave them a sense of safety. Maybe your honesty challenged them. Maybe your independence made them realize that love cannot be based on possession or control. Maybe your ability to continue living your life despite uncertainty made them recognize your strength. And perhaps most importantly, they may be realizing that you were not asking for perfection, you were asking for sincerity. That distinction matters. In healthy love, people do not need flawless behavior. They need honesty, accountability, consistency, and emotional respect. A person can make mistakes and still be worthy of love, but love becomes painful when mistakes are repeatedly defended instead of acknowledged. Perhaps this person is now beginning to understand that. Maybe they are thinking about the moments when you tried to communicate and they did not fully listen. Maybe they are remembering times when you gave them the benefit of the doubt while they gave you reasons to doubt them. Maybe they are recognizing that some of the tension between you was not because there was no love, but because there was not enough emotional clarity. And emotional clarity is something many people develop only after experiencing consequences. When everything is comfortable, we can avoid difficult truths. But when something valuable begins slipping away, those truths become impossible to ignore. This could be why this situation feels different now. They are no longer looking at it only from their own perspective. They may be beginning to see your side. They may be asking themselves what you felt, what you needed, what you were afraid of, and what you were trying to communicate through your actions. That shift, from what did they do to me, to what did they experience because of me, is a powerful sign of emotional maturity. It represents a movement away from blame and toward empathy. And empathy changes relationships because it allows a person to understand that every action has an emotional impact. Perhaps this person is realizing that you had your own reasons for becoming quieter, more cautious, or more distant. Maybe they now understand that you were not trying to punish them. You were trying to protect yourself. There is a difference. Sometimes people interpret boundaries as rejection because they are accustomed to having unlimited access to someone's attention. But boundaries are not necessarily walls. They can be doors with conditions. They say, I care about this connection, but I also care about myself. And perhaps this person is finally respecting that. Maybe they have begun to see that your heart is softer than your behavior sometimes reveals, but your experiences have taught you not to give that softness to everyone without discernment. They may be realizing that behind your confidence there is vulnerability, behind your silence there are thoughts, behind your patience there are limits, and behind your distance there may still be love. This does not mean they automatically deserve another chance. Understanding someone's feelings does not erase the consequences of their choices.